Oh my gosh, we are live.
Wow. We're about to begin an epic adventure.
That's right. We're going to jump from the back of a walrus onto the back of a rooster or vice versa. Let's go.
We have all of our animal clips.
We do.
I see about 6 or so.
We're going to give the viewers animal clips in 1 minute and 32 seconds.
Yeah.
Hold on to your pants.
Oh my goodness. Yep. This is going
to. Who's that, Pete?
I just grabbed it off the internet.
Is it Kerry King?
I don't even know if that's. I have no idea who that is.
He looked very metal, so I just was like, "Let's metal."
I'm pretty sure that guy plays in a metal band. No question about it.
Well, I bet you in 1 minute and 2 seconds, we'll have viewers that can guess who that guy is, and they'll probably know.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Hope you guys are ready for this year-end show.
Oh yeah. Tingles in my spine. Tingles in my spine, guys.
Yeah.
Whew.
Tingles somewhere else down below in the southern regions.
Okay.
Like Death Metal Deer.
Yeah, Death Metal Deer
Right. Well,
is quite randy.
Yeah, Death Metal Deer is quite right.
Metal Mike.
A viewer has already told us his name, but I don't. Who's Metal Mike?
Probably true.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, that was
a
one
guess.
possible option.
One possible option.
I think it's Kerry King.
Yeah.
No, that's not Kerry King.
He's got a good mustache and a lot of nice hair.
Kerry King is bald, bro.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay, so metal.
Metal.
The show's about metal.
What is metal? We're going to spread the hidden value in music.
We're going to proselytize. We're going to get the word out there.
We are.
That's important.
Welcome to the New Year's Eve show, the Great Metal Podcast, episode 25. I am the Metal Evangelist Luke, and I am joined by Shredmaster Scott and Just Pete.
Yeah.
And today we are going to put a bow on 2020, a black bow with a skull on it. If you were watching earlier, you probably saw that on our image there before we started.
Yeah.
So the question is, will
this image.
That image right there, black bow with skull on it? That's what I was referencing. I wasn't making it up. But today we're going to find out if 2020 is going to get the death metal seal of approval, or is it going to get kicked in the donk like Death Metal Pig?
Pig.
These hands off my bacon.
Dude, I feel like that was 2020 touching the pig, and he was just not having it. Not a fan of the touches, man.
Done with this year.
About a pig the other night.
Did you?
It's going to be so much better, right?
I mean, in all honesty, 2020, there was a lot that sucked about 2020, right? But also there was a lot of really cool stuff that happened in 2020. Some of which we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Maybe. So
absolutely.
It wouldn't have happened. Liquid tension experiment would not have happened if it wasn't for.
There you go.
It's the C word.
That's it. It's so true. It's like, one of the things that happened due to the pandemic is nobody could tour. And so what are these bands doing? So some of them like went for the, let's get creative and work on live streaming and that kind of stuff. Some of them really went after their social media game. Devin Townsend, he really went after his social media game. Yeah. But some of the bands, they said, well, hey, what are we going to do with our free time? And they started recording new music. So I'm really excited about that. I think you're going to have an avalanche of fantastic metal coming out in 2021.
Yeah. I wonder how much more was recorded because of the pandemic. Because maybe that's something we can measure next year.
Yeah, I feel like a
Just
lot of it's
recurring
going to
it.
hit next year, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now there was I saw a headline the other day. Man, what band was it? I can't remember what band it was. But they were like, no, I'm like in solidarity for everybody that's hurting. We're not going to record any music in 2020. And I was like, what are you doing, man? That's just weird.
I saw some of these monks though who live in isolation. And then this article was like, in 2020, these monks just checked another box on their 900-year self-imposed isolation. But then, in solidarity with the rest of the world, they also gave up their weekly walks they did together because they used to get together once a week to go for a walk.
I don't know. It seems weird to me. Like
that's cheating.
Yeah,
it is kind of cheating. I feel like I want everybody to live their life to the fullest. Don't give up your life for making me feel, I don't know, safer or something. That's just weird to me.
100%, man. I mean, you make the world a better place by creating new metal, not by not creating new metal. That's not it.
Yeah. 100% agree. 100% agree. So, yeah. So shout out to, was it Alex Johansson?
Yeah.
Who was it? Johan Alexandersson. Yeah, from Sweden. Thanks for watching, man. I believe I believe you were the one that sent us the recommendation for that band Paladin.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, really cool band. Appreciate the recommend there.
Johan, what's the temperature in Sweden right now? Is it negative 666 degrees? It's got to be pretty cold.
It's probably approaching negative 666 degrees. Yeah.
Also, shout out to Matthew Corns. Thanks for being on, and thanks for all the fun we've had with you this year, and some of the submissions you've sent us as well, and that great comic.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. We would love to see part 2 of that in 2021. That'll be super good. Just to let everybody know, so today we're wrapping up 2020. This is our last episode of season 1, and then we're gonna have a short break, maybe just a week or so. And then negative 600.
It's even negative 666 Celsius.
Yeah. That is cold, man.
That's cold. That's even colder than absolute zero, in fact.
Right. Hopefully you're staying warm there. So we're wrapping up this season. We're probably going to take about a week break. Again, some of us are moving, we're traveling around a little bit. And then we're planning out a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Season 2 of the Great Metal Podcast is going to be off the charts. We have a lot of cool stuff planned.
And Luke, you're moving to 666 River Styx Way, right? In hell. So that's going to make season 2 really good.
It's going to be a celebration.
It is weird. It's going to be a celebration. Hey, do you have a river on there?
No,
because I gotta find Charon.
Where's your River Styx?
I have a. Oh no, that's not gonna work. I don't. Sorry.
I like Nightwish said. Nightwish told me a long time ago. They said, "Save yourself a penny for the ferryman," and of course they're talking about Charon, the River Styx. And so I've got a penny, and so hopefully Charon will let me cross.
You think he would charge more? That's pretty cheap,
Although
he's probably taking a lot of people over every day, so maybe he does do okay.
It adds up.
It adds up. A penny
for sure.
at a time.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're super excited about season 2. It's going to be a really, really good time. But
if you have topics or ideas for season 2, send them to us at greatmetalpodcast@gmail.com. Again, we love hearing from the viewers. We a couple of great viewers on right now that we've gotten good submissions from and ideas, and we take those seriously because we want to make stuff you're interested in as well.
Absolutely, and so some of the things that are going to be happening. Just here's a little teaser. We're actually going to get around to some of the stuff we talked about in earlier episodes about like, for instance, we're going to write the #1 pop hit of all time. We're going to write it on the show.
Yeah.
Still doing that. Huh?
We're still doing that. We're going to write it on the show, and within 6 months, it's going to be #1 on Billboard 200, just to show how much pop sucks. We're also going to start having some guests on, some bands, musicians, maybe some surprises in there as well. So anyway, season 2, 2021 is actually so far shaping up to be really good.
Maybe we should have him on as a guest.
Oh,
We could actually easily get like death metal cats. We could get death metal goats.
Yeah.
Goats.
We have a lot of goats around. Yeah.
Why haven't we done a death metal goat?
We should, dude. They scream.
They scream.
Right?
Yeah.
Good scream.
It'd probably fit like emo, maybe a little bit more than metal, but you know.
All right. So where are we driving this train today?
All right.
Like
so
you gave the highlights, but let's get the train rolling.
Let's get the train rolling. Yeah. You guys probably want to know what we think about 2020. We want to know what you guys think about 2020. So first of all, I mean, let's start with some of the news highlights. We probably should have known that 2020 was going to be a punch in the face. I think it was January 6th or January 7th of 2020. We got news of Neil Peart's passing. So let's check this out.
A real
We
legend.
have some breaking news from the music world. Canada has lost one of its greatest rock icons. We have just learned that Neil Peart, the drummer from Rush, has died.
Yeah.
A publicist for Peart says he passed away earlier this week in January on the 7th in California. The statement says he had been suffering from brain cancer for the last 3.5 years.
It says it. Oh, I thought it said it. He wasn't old at all. He was like 65 or 67.
Something.
So I went and saw Rush live a couple of years before that, of the 40th anniversary tour, and so glad I went. Neil was still playing at that point because he had dropped out of playing. You know, they kind of wound down there shortly after the 40th anniversary because he was struggling with health stuff, I believe.
Yeah, it was brain cancer. He had it for like 3.5 years, which is something. But he stopped
for a long period of time too after his wife died, right? He had a long hiatus. Then he had to come back and kind of figure out how to play drums again and get back on the horse.
Yeah, had to figure out how to play. Well, I also she pronounced his name Peart.
Peart, yeah, it's pronounced Peart.
Is that how it's actually pronounced?
Yeah, not Pert, but Peart.
I'll be damned. I've always pronounced it Neil Peart.
Oh, I feel like a noob now.
I do too. Yeah, Matthew Korn's actually you did a great video on. I couldn't watch the whole thing, but you had like a Dream Theater shirt on, and then it like magically switched to a Rush shirt, and then you did like a Rush bass solo. It was really it was a cool video.
Nice.
So yeah, Rush. I mean, these guys were pioneers for sure. And every mega progressive metal band will tell you they're influenced by Rush.
They've just been around for so long. I mean, it started in the 60s, right?
Yeah. I went to the 40th anniversary tour. I mean, there's not a lot of bands that have a 40th anniversary tour.
Yeah, I mean, like the Stones would be in it. This is like their 110th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many bands make it that long.
Yeah.
Metal, like who else? Priest has been around a while.
Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, he's still around.
Because Black Sabbath wasn't, consistent the whole way, because he got kicked out and started a solo project and
whatever.
Be hard. But anyway, what else? EVH.
Yeah. Here's the other big sad one. Here was the news.
Guitar legend Eddie Van Halen died of cancer today. Few could match his speed or his influence to an entire generation of guitarists.
Wow.
Guitar hero Eddie Van Halen was one of the most innovative rock musicians ever.
I love this.
Best known for his finger taps, playing with both
finger
hands
taps
on the neck of the guitar.
She doesn't know what.
Van Halen was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007. His death was announced today on Twitter by his bandmate, Wolf Van Halen, his son from his marriage to actress Valerie Bertinelli. My father lost his long and arduous battle with cancer this morning. He was the best father I could ever ask for.
Yeah. It's weird, like the guys you idolize when you're a kid, and when they start, going the way of the river Styx, it's a weird experience, and it's I mean, just think about it. Like, we'll never get another Eddie Van Halen solo or album. I mean, that just sucks.
I hope he has a penny for the ferryman, Karen.
Yeah. Yeah, Tuamos does for sure. He's probably got a bunch saved up.
Much penny saved up.
Yeah.
Van Halen was just such a unique talent. To think he was able to get to that level of innovation without, the internet and showing him how to do things.
Yeah,
a true beast.
Yeah. Well, now, like you were saying, when we were kids, we were maybe idolizing these folks, but now we need to be those idols for the next generation.
Well, that's right.
We can't sit on our butts. We got to get work done now.
Yeah, exactly. That goes, to that thing earlier. Who was saying that they were going to stop doing anything in solidarity for?
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, let me look it up. Let me look it up.
You got to keep things moving forward. Keep looking into the future. Otherwise, you get stuck in the past.
Nobody wants to be stuck in the past.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, as I look up, which metal band is not making music during the pandemic. The first headline that comes up is pantyhose and trash bags. How music broke. Anyway, I'll have to find it.
Yeah,
it was it's a well-known metal band, but I should have read the article. I just didn't.
Well, it's such a unique opportunity, I think, this pandemic, to reinvent yourself and to try a different angle on things. Maybe you have some talents and skills that you didn't even realize. Being forced into lockdown, it kind of you just develop a different approach to life.
You gotta take advantage of it, right?
Take advantage of it. Use the tools that we have available. Social media, you can still use that, and Lord knows we are.
Yeah. Well, I was talking the other day with a band member from the Michigan Rattlers. They're from Michigan. That's and they I know them a little bit. They tour a lot, and I was like, what was one thing that was good for you this year? And he was like, well, I love touring, but he's like, one thing, he was a keyboardist. He's like, I really wanted to work on my tone and developing new tones and sounds. He's like, but I never had any time to work on that when we were touring all the time. So he's like, I really dug into that and so there's the self, if you utilize the time for self-development, that's
it exactly. The self-development. A lot of times we don't do that because there's something called FOMA, fear of missing out. Right.
Yeah.
So instead of kind of staying at home and developing a new skill, you're just out, whatever, doing stuff that maybe isn't important or isn't pushing your career forwards. So look at it that way. You could totally reinvent yourself and become the next thing.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's the difference between, being a consumer and being a producer, right? A creator and a consumer. And I think, me personally, I love to consume, right? I mean, I love to hear what other musicians are doing. I like to play video game. I don't want to go out and make a video game and then play it. I want to play video games that other people make, So, yeah. I mean, I like the consumption part of it. However, that's like, it's a very peripheral thing because when I get done reading a book,
look your hand, you got like the special,
oh, well, yeah. No, I mean, they're
crazy
thumb holes. It helps
thumb holes?
Yeah, you have thumb holes.
I've never seen thumb holes.
Shred, you gotta get with the program. Yeah, you see those every night, every morning, maybe after breakfast, once for lunch.
You know who's looking for those type of holes is this deer. All right,
there was somebody ready for some holes. It's that deer.
That metal deer.
She is.
These metal animals, man, they're just out there. Turns out they've been grunting and screaming way before we got into it.
If they had fingers, they would be playing metal music.
Yeah.
But Shred has to make the music for them because they can't do it themselves.
Yeah, the hooves on the fretboard it doesn't work.
And Metal Walrus, his neck is even thicker than Corpse Grinder.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Corpse Grinder's neck, but his neck is like,
all right.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like Corpse Grinder's neck. Like he did something specifically to get it that size. You guys have seen that, right? It's
yeah.
It's the widest neck I've ever seen on a human being.
Yeah. No, it's true. His head goes out to his shoulder.
Yeah. Like cheek to shoulder.
Yeah. You must have like a exercise regiment, to actually get it to that level of girth.
Some people do. Some people like, I remember our cousin Andy, who used to, be a bodybuilder type thing. He had, it was like a helmet, like a harness for his head that had a weight attached to it. And he would sit there and like do reps. Yeah. With this like weighted helmet. It was crazy.
Wow. So what are, other than amazing vocal performances from animals this year, what about some good things that happened? Some best metal?
Yeah, well, so I have my personal list of my highlight albums of 2020 because
like Katy Perry, Britney Spears, Madonna, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Celine Dion, she was on the top. She's been in the news a lot because she got skinny, and then everybody's like, body shaming her, and I'm like, she just got skinny.
Body shaming her for losing weight. And
it's crazy.
Now it's a you want
shaming.
Yeah, it's reverse shaming.
It doesn't matter. Like pop culture, that like this is why metal is so amazing, is because there's actually not a tremendous amount of judgment in the metal community, right? In pop culture, it's like if you're too skinny, too fat, it's a problem. If your hair is a certain color, it's a problem.
Really good point, actually, Luke.
Oh yeah, no, it's insane. Like trying to keep up in the modern pop world is just dumb. But anyway, so 2020, as much as a lot of bad things did happen, a lot of good things happened too. So I've got my list. There's what, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 of my favorite albums that came out this year. So let's check some of them out. And
number 1,
Miley Cyrus,
Metallica.
She didn't release that album. That comes out next year.
Yeah, it can't be number 1.
It'll be my favorite next year. Wink, wink. So at the top of my list, not saying this is my favorite, but at the top of my list is John Petrucci's new one, his new solo album, Terminal Velocity. Now, here is my take on this one. The first time I listened to it, I was quite disappointed. Quite disappointed, actually. Sorry, John. But like there are some tracks on here where what it reminded me of was like progressive elevator music. It's so just I don't know, like there's not much dynamism.
It's a little bit predictable from like a harmonic standpoint. It's not really his John Petrucci's style, for the most part. More aggressive and adventurous.
Right. So let's take a quick listen to this track called The Way Things Fall.
Going up the elevator. Right to the 10th floor. Yeah.
like that. Change an octave.
The tone is absolutely unbelievable. Petrucci is like the full-time king of tone.
Yeah.
So just buttery, smooth, thick, wide.
100% agree.
That particular segment is a little predictable. The melody's very just follows like a sequential pattern every time.
Yeah,
I also there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's maybe not the best bang for your buck though when it comes to Petrucci.
To be honest, I would prefer if Elevators played that. You know,
that's true. That's a really good point.
So we always talk about metal making everything better, right? So metal makes elevator music better.
It would level up.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good one. Yeah. We have a clip coming up later. I won't spoil it. I agree 100%. Like, for what it is, it's really good. Like, and Petrucci's phrasing on some of that is so good. I love the octave change. I mean, he's so good at knowing where to go. The thing to me is just like that. It's and there's a couple of songs and several large chunks of several of the songs that are just like that, where it's not dynamic. It's not interesting. It doesn't punch me in the face the way I want metal to punch me in the face. Right.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to articulate what it is, but it's just a little bit frustrating. There's not enough like in between notes, the chromatic stuff, which is kind of what gives you that punch in the face a lot of times in metal, unexpected dissonance. But But then you got another clip where he's a little bit more in that vein.
Right. So I mean, listening to that, I mean, to exactly what you said, and maybe it's the dissonance elements, whatever, like he's got some tracks on here that are like just major key. And it seems like he's just going up and down the scale. Right. And so it's like, take me through the dark forest where I don't know what's there. I know what's down. The closer you get to pop, the more familiar everybody is with it, and it's candy cane forests and all this kind of stuff. I want to go in the dark forest where I don't know what's there.
Haunted woods of metal.
That's where we find ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And so anyway, but then listening to this album, man, there are some gems on there. And so I get to this song.
I see what you
yeah. I get to this song called Gemini, and immediately I'm like, whoa, I recognize this in a way, but I can't put my finger on it. So I go to the message boards and everybody's like, oh, he's pulling riffs from his Rock Discipline video. And I was like, motherfucker, that's exactly what it is. This is like old school John Petrucci. Yeah. Who like is hitting it hard, bringing it back and hitting it hard in 2020. So let's check out Gemini. This riff right here, straight out of Rock Discipline, very like Awake-esque.
Yeah, that's good.
A lot of chromatic notes in the end.
Yes.
Actually, I guess Petrucci is probably a Gemini, right? His birthday is like July 12th. Which
I don't know. I don't know.
Gemini? I think so.
Good question. Maybe that's
professional, but
maybe that's why he named it Gemini, because he is Gemini. And that is like quintessential John Petrucci right there. He's doing like the 3 notes.
Yeah.
John always likes, 3-note patterns. And it's just like, it reminds me of like the Awake era, which had such a mystical feel to it.
This was probably recorded around that time, right? Because if Awake was 94, the instructional VHS, I guess, originally.
Yeah.
When was it released? Probably 95.
Oh, it had to have been right there.
I love the guitar he's got on that. It's like that multi-colored.
Yeah, that was back when he was with Ibanez.
Yeah, Ibanez for sure.
Ibanez there. Yeah, it was almost sad when he switched over to Ernie Ball because I liked that guitar so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this like totally redeemed the entire album for me when I heard that song. And then of course,
tracks at the end of the album that are like that, much heavier, much more adventurous.
Yeah. And looks like 1996. Rock Discipline was 1996. So that would actually been like Falling into Infinity. Yeah. So John, definitely I pick up this album. And again, going back and listening to it, some of the songs that I was not impressed by, it's still really good music. It's just you're gonna have to be in like that more like mellow mode to like really appreciate it.
Yeah, we don't want to sound like we're critiquing Lord Petrucci, but
not at all.
It's okay sometimes to, explore different aspects of your creativity. And, I mean, it's not always hitting the target right down the center every time, but that's okay. Maybe with some other people, it really does.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah. I mean, the idea is, I would say objectively, John Petrucci is, off the charts, one of the best musicians out there. And so I'm saying zero about the quality of his music. What I'm saying, like on the taste side of things, I prefer my metal heavier. So whenever you go like poppier, it's just not my particular taste, right?
Yeah.
But again, I mean, in terms of quality, this is like off the charts.
I almost feel like we need to go back and define metal again. It's such a elusive term to figure out.
Well, so we actually have a clip from our very first episode where this isn't the episode we actually tried to define metal in episode 2. But in episode 1, we talked about the objective nature and the subjective nature of art. Should we play that clip?
Objective or subjective?
Well, it's objectively amazing, but whether you like it or not is subjective.
Right. Well, maybe we were going to save it for a little later, but maybe we play this clip now. Now, this clip is a couple minutes, but it's worth hanging on because this episode has been one of our most popular episodes because the topic of, music's objectivity versus subjectivity is so big. So let's take a listen to it.
We got to go into the...
All right, the sermon. I think it's time to get into the sermon.
There's an age-old myth that art in general, but particularly today we talk about in terms of music, that the quality of music, the value of music is subjective. And I think it's bullshit. Okay? Now, if I say, so for instance, I'm drinking something with orange juice in it right now. It might not be
Taylor
the
Swift
only
objectively measured. How would you objectively measure T Swift?
Well, let me give...
By the number of trucks on the road that say Swift?
No. So that's good.
It's not that.
That is good.
It's not that.
I'll use an analogy to make the point. I squeezed lemon juice into it, so I'll use lemon as an example. Citrus. Yeah. So look, you can. It's not debatable that the lemon juice in my cocktail right now has vitamin C in it. It's not debatable. We can measure it, right?
Unless those are really shitty
now,
lemons.
you may not like lemon juice.
Right.
But that doesn't change the fact that lemon juice has vitamin C in it. So the nutritional quality of a food is not dependent upon how you feel about it. Now, in a very, very similar way, we measure all kinds of things objectively in music. So if Shredmaster can play a song in 4/4 time at 160 beats per minute, quarter notes,
666 beats per minute.
Yeah,
that's only tempo.
That's a better
I'd
example.
Ever play at.
So Shred's going to play at 660 beats per minute.
66, yes.
66 beats per minute.
606, whatever.
666.
Just get some.
If I tried to play the same thing, I'm not going to be able to do it, right? I can't do it.
You
so
will
it's
fail.
Objective to say that Shred, I mean, I'll use the comparative, not the superlative. Shred is a better guitar player than me when it comes to things like playing on time. So the thing would be like, yeah, what resonates with me doesn't necessarily resonate with somebody else.
Well, and
right?
this is, yes.
And that's where this concept of like taste comes in, right? Yeah. You might not like grunting. I do like grunting, right?
Yeah.
But there are elements of grunting that you can't say it's not good.
Yeah.
There it is. So a not normal lizard said that he's going to be tuning in 2021 so he can hear Shred's fat beer burps. And then you got one in that clip.
Yeah. That was the genesis of
farting though.
Right up. Thankfully, we talked a couple episodes ago about that guy that was trying to get farting samples for his keyboard. Thankfully, we never got one. Nobody ever submitted a fart sample.
We have some fart samples here.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know if we need to go into it, but yeah. So anyway, I mean, you know.
Okay. Wow. Just queued up, ready for fart sample.
I had it ready to go.
Yeah. Well, that was good. But no, I mean, so that, and when we're talking about, you know, all of this stuff, like I like this band or this band sucks, whatever. What we're largely talking about is, unless we clarify, we're like, this is like taste, right? Like this is what I like, or this is what Pete likes, or whatever. Yeah. But sometimes we can objectively say something is terrible.
It's an important distinction to make, and it's false to assume that everybody's kind of on the same page with their subjective taste. This is where we get at
right.
Touch. You know, we think, well, since I like this kind of music, why shouldn't other people like that?
Yeah.
So this is why, because there's such thing as subjective taste. Yeah,
that's right. And so let's jump into this next band, because I think these guys have actually they've been very experimental throughout the years, and I've had people comment to me that they love them. I've had people comment to me that they hate these guys. So you know, this is a band. What's that? My
interest is piqued.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the band is the UK's Paradise Lost. And they've been around for a long time, 25 years, 30 years, something like that. And they've gone through a lot of different transitions. In the early 2000s, I had one of their albums. I can't remember what it was called. And I wasn't a huge fan, but they released an album this year, 2020, called Obsidian. And I have been hooked on this album. So here's a little sampler from their album. It's called Darker Thoughts.
This one-way street you're on is gonna get you killed.
The build with this violin.
Yeah.
Was that the Dark Forest?
That could have been the Dark Forest. It's so thick. That bass right there.
Yeah, the production is really heavy.
Yeah.
That's really good production. Big sound.
Oh man,
yeah,
the density,
love the quality of that.
Luke, is that what you're talking about? You're talking about I want to go through the woods. Take me to the dark woods.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that, but that's exactly what it is.
In the dark woods, it looked like.
He was.
There was some sunlight, but
yeah. No, I mean this whole album's really good. I would say they do a fantastic job, particularly now. They used to be like all grunting. Then they started experimenting more with like you know, the clean vocals, but like when I talk about like, you know, dynamic music, these guys do such a good job of like that. The first 2 minutes of that song is just a classical guitar. And then like some strings come in, then it starts building, and then it gets super heavy. And it's just like, it's so good. They balance.
attention span to get through that. It's like we've got so small attention spans these days, very short.
Metalheads don't.
Yeah.
Metalheads have a great attention span. They want to go for the full ride. In pop, you're 100% right. That's why all pop songs are 3 minutes long, because
metalheads still listen to albums.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Like, wow,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I do.
So anyway, Obsidian by Paradise Lost.
I know we do. I'm just wondering if the kids do, like Gen Z, you know, like the metal. It'd be interesting to find out, like on Spotify, do people consume like metal singles more, or do they listen to albums? I don't know.
But I don't know. I mean, I think generally speaking, metal tends to have considerably longer tracks. Yeah, because they spend more time developing the music. And so I would think if you're into metal in general, that's just kind of a standard feature. But I don't know.
It's good to have a longer attention span, because then you can learn, you know.
Well, you can. That's the thing. It's like, you know, if you take it back to like film versus television, right? A lot of right now, particularly TV shows, Game of Thrones and The Mandalorian and all this kind of stuff is much more popular than film. And part of the reason is because you have an entire season to develop your characters, to develop your story. Whereas in a movie, you have 2 hours, right? Lord of the Rings took what, 20 hours? You know, it's 3 movies. Each was like 3 hours long. Then there's 15 hours of, you know,
like
bonus
the
content
cuts, right?
Right, which were all like 4 or 5 hours long. So, you know, you have to have that much time to really dive deep into your theme. So and metal does that. Metal dives so deep.
I find too that if something captures you well and is developing itself, that the time just flies by. I'm always shocked when it's like, wow, I listened to that whole album. You know, that happens to me a lot when I'm listening to metal.
How do you listen to an album, Pete? Do you listen to it on vinyl, or like what are you doing while you listen to the album? Like,
so
having a beer?
I used to listen to more vinyl. I would just sit down and just listen, like sit on the couch and listen. But as I got busier in life, that's harder to do. I still like to do that when I can. Most of the time I'm listening while I drive these days.
Yeah. Driving's a big one. Or exercising. When we work out, we'll typically turn on, you know, pull up YouTube and either turn on an album or turn on
We're doing the dishes.
By the way, we have a Spotify playlist now, right? So
we do.
For, a multitasking opportunity, you could cue that up while you go about your day.
Totally. In fact, I will put up
link in the description below.
I'll put up you know, my favorite albums of 2020 playlist. I'll get that up.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit the next couple on your list.
Because Bach is metal, and just every year, you know.
Every year.
Deal. I'll put Bach on there.
The most metal thing ever.
Yeah. All right. So moving through the list here, my next one is can't go wrong with these guys. Nightwish released their album Human Nature. And this one
was good. This was good.
Yeah, I know Shred loves the concept behind this video. So let's check out a clip from their song Noise.
Yourself, post for the dead, have a near life experience, hit a hard matrix. Now you're a star, paying avatar, feeding the beast in your loud ego land. You have become too of a tool, digital fool, setting you to shut off their death.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool artistic statement, and it sort of illustrates the job of artists, which is to reflect what's going on in society, culture. So many times we're like, yeah, I've got to like make this statement and it's got to be right. It's got to be ethically pure or whatever. But no, your job as an artist really is just to reflect what's happening, And that's what I see Tumos is doing here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they've always tried to be not just culturally relevant, but like relevant at a human level, at like an existential level. Obviously, The Greatest Show on Earth from their previous album was all about human life evolving throughout time, and we were here, right? And so they've Nightwish. Tuomas is a philosopher at heart.
Philosopher, yeah, and he gets that this device is very important, and we're evolving maybe into this device.
And then he and then it's like as with anything, it's like there are dangers in abusing it as well. So it's like it's like a necessary evil, but how do you balance the positive with the negative? And so again, metal, thank you. Deep themes. Thank you, metal, because I just can't handle any more like oh, my boyfriend dumped me songs. I just can't. Or WAP. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Do you have any of those that we could queue up just so Luke could pull his hair out?
No, don't.
This is not.
Don't do it to me, Shred.
Episode on just seeing how much you can take. How much could you take before you just lose?
We should make
probably not too
an
much.
Episode that's Luke's reactions to pop music, and it would just be us playing clips and him reacting. Yeah,
I would do it for you guys, but we might get banned
with.
There you go. You go.
That's your rating on the song.
That would be my rating.
10 farts, you get a brown.
You get a brown. You'd probably be getting a lot of like death metal pig style moaning. Look, play a little pop. Oh, play a little pop again. Oh, yeah. Pretty much all R&B right there. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so I gotta get this next one in. This is one of my favorites here. I tell you, so Draconian has been a mainstay. I actually looked up, I found my old iPod that I've had since, I don't know, 2008 or something like that. And I went on there and I looked at what my top 25 most listened to songs were. 18 out of the top 25 were Draconian songs. And then, interestingly enough, Shred, your old musical project, Arideus, one of those songs was on there. It was in my top 25. Incredible. Which one?
I don't know how you power through that awful production.
The songs are so good. It was track number 4. It's the one that had Katie singing.
The Black Spider.
Sorrow.
It's probably Eternal Sorrow.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Black Spider. No.
Okay.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was on, and then there was like a Seventh Wonder song. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is Draconian throughout my metal years has been a mainstay. So they just released a new album called Under the Godless Veil back in October, I think it was. And they took a really interesting turn. Shred, you'd be really proud of them. They went, all the trademark
turn into the dark woods.
They went past the dark woods, Shred, into the evil woods. So this album took a really sinister turn. So it's got all the Burning Halo was a very sinister album. It had, the gothic embrace and that kind of stuff on it. So here they have that same gothic, thematic element, but they kind of went in a sinister direction here. So let's take a listen to a little bit of Moon Over Saboth. I just can't get enough. Can't get enough of these guys.
Buy
this album. Buy this album right now. It is so good.
How's it doing? I wonder.
Sales wise? I don't know.
Yeah. Draconians probably doesn't sell a whole lot, but are they a well-known band, would you say?
Oh, I think they're quite large in the doom metal scene.
Where are they from?
Sweden.
Sweden.
Oh, so Johan.
Maybe Johan knows them.
Yeah. Do you know I mean, know them or know of them? I mean, is Draconian a big name in Sweden?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Love to hear the answer to that.
They are a big name in my heart. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I actually listened to a fair amount of Draconian. I know, we spend a lot of time together, so
yes, we do.
I listened to it also because of that, but
that could be like your soundtrack at the brewery, Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, it's hard to get people into that. You don't start them there, that's for sure.
No, this is not everybody's cup of tea. We had to do a physical inventory at one of our companies last year, and I tried playing some metal, and it did not go over well. Yeah, everybody was like, dude, you got to turn that off. You got to turn that off.
This was funny because Luke was, I don't remember how this came up, but he was like, yeah, we're doing physical inventory. I was like, well, you should. He's like, I'm driving the forklift, so I can't wear headphones. I was like, well, you should just bring in a Bluetooth speaker and play metal. He's like, oh, I already tried that. I was like, oh, boy. And then I was like, well, you should bring in a Bluetooth speaker and play the Great Metal Podcast.
Yeah.
So if you're so passionate about it, Luke, if you could somehow just like, I don't know, act out the song with motions and I don't know, get tuned up first so that you feel, like in the groove. But
so we got a couple things related to that. First, Matthew Korn said that Luke reacting to pop music and drinking a lot to get over it would be good. So speaking of getting tuned up, but Johan responded that even though Draconian is from his country in Sweden, he got to know them through us.
That's awesome, man. I tell you, and hopefully you're a fan. I mean, it's okay if you're not too, but it's like there are just you guys' neck of the woods is just producing just top-notch metal.
Good metal from Sweden.
Finland, Sweden.
From Sweden. There's this band called Evergrey that I really like from Sweden. They're not a real big band, but that's a great band. Who else? In Flames is from Sweden. Meshuggah is from Sweden.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Oh, it's so good. I feel like I would love to live over there, and I feel like I would just be a kid in a candy store with all the metal. Like, Finland has the highest, number of metal bands per capita of any country in the world, and I would just spend all my time running around listening to metal bands. Oh, it's so good.
They'd probably be like busking on the streets.
No, busking.
What is busking?
Like when someone stands on the side with like their guitar case open on a sidewalk and plays. You've never heard busking?
No, I haven't heard that term before.
Well, the term a lot of people don't know, but everybody's seen buskers. But I mean, how would you do that? Maybe like just metal acoustic stuff, just be really heavy on your acoustic.
Yeah, you could do that. You can do that if you're really good.
I thought that was a term people knew. I made a video called Busking Squirrel for our D's Nuts campaign.
Well, I mean, maybe that. Maybe everybody has those like gaps in knowledge. It's like obvious things or whatever that you just missed.
Yeah,
it's like people that pronounce chameleon, chameleon.
Chameleon.
It's from like How I Met Your Mother. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so the last band I want to mention that came out, we don't have to listen to the clip because we're running out of time, and I want to get to some other stuff. But the band Majestica, they just changed their name. They were Rain Exceed. We talked about them in our Christmas metal episode a couple weeks ago.
So if you want to hear more about them, go there.
Yeah, and I'd never heard of these guys, and then I bought their album, A Christmas Carol. It's the story of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, Scrooge, told through metal Christmas carols. and I can't stop listening to it. It's so good. It's just
to it even
still
after
listening
Christmas.
To it. It's the only Christmas music I will listen to after Christmas. It's power metal, right? So it's so energetic.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just loving it. So anyway, Majestica, A Christmas Carol. Everybody check that out. Check out our Christmas metal episode if you want to listen to some tracks from those guys. So last thing we wanted to hit here was live streams, man. So 2020, if nothing else, was the year where we went from live shows to live streams. And there were actually some really good ones. So there's a website. I don't know if you can put up the website, but it's metalmagnitude.com.
I'll put it in the comments.
We'll put it in the comments. Metalmagnitude.com. They've got a list of all the bands that instead of obviously doing live shows this year, started doing some live streams, some online stuff. I mean, everybody was doing it. Metallica had their Metallica Mondays. Sammy Hagar was doing a weekly lockdown session. Sepultura is on there. Devin Townsend was a big one that did stuff.
This is so good, and I get so many questions from people who are like, how do I start a band? Well, this is it right here. Start streaming. Find some buddies on Instagram or whatever social platform you're on, and then connect with them on like Stage It or whatever, some of these other platforms that do that. There's your band. Boom. You got to be thinking forward instead of like, that's how we used to. We used to like, get together and find your mates at the pub and start a band. No. That's not how we're doing it anymore.
The garage is
how we're doing it now.
The garage is a green screen now.
The garage is a green screen. That's right. And again, like we've talked about before, there is something cool about a live show. There's an energy about it. It's really fun to sit there and watch John Petrucci in real life shred like there's no tomorrow. But at the same time, it's so limiting to have a show like,
technology gets better though. It's probably going to be a better experience live streaming, once we get the VR figured out in your headphones and the sound and everything, right? Then the actual live performance will probably get better.
It totally could be. And I think there's probably, there's probably always going to be room for both, but I love these online. I can watch them anytime, anywhere, to me, and I have access to all of them. Right. So it's like, you're going to do 50 shows in a year. Well, I only get to go to one because you're only going to come within 4 or 5 hours of me. I can't drive 27 hours to check out your show.
You're not a roadie.
I'm not a roadie. It's very
for like the backstage stuff. You just do a Zoom beforehand or something, right? With the band. That would be cool too.
But I will give this because it's a specific example that's a little bit different than what you're saying. I was going back and looking at clips we had from Beards this year, and that we started with a live show that was a New Year's Eve show, and so it went in 2020 started with live music. And looking back at the clips of the show that I had actually been at, I did have a little bit of longing for the energy that was there. And I think there's always going to be some of that. There is hassle, right? You're smashed together with everyone, but there's also like an energy to it that it's harder, I think, too, even for the musicians to produce that level of energy without the audience there feeding back.
Absolutely. Until we evolve, Pete, into digital entities.
Singularity.
Yeah. Well, so again, at this current point, there's pros and cons to both, but I personally am fairly excited. I was happy to see a bunch of this happen.
As excited as Death Metal Deer, though?
It didn't really have that effect.
It's
that I'm going to admit.
We should play a clip though from a highlight here.
Right. So exactly. So some notable ones. Some notable ones that happened were, Trans-Siberian Orchestra did a big one. Devin Townsend did one on Halloween.
Did a bunch.
He did a lot, but he did.
That was a crazy show.
Yeah, on Halloween he did a thing called Rarities by Request, and so he did it. He didn't do it all himself, but all of the people playing the instruments are him.
Yeah.
And so it's a live stream of him playing live music.
guests too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had some special guests. So let's just check out a quick clip from that show.
I'm going to stop apologizing. I'm Canadian. Okay. If you're drunk at home, if you're in your ginch, which is Canadian from underpants, sing along.
Wow. Devin
He's showing like
very attractive babe.
Yeah, he's got pictures of fans in the background going on.
Yeah.
He's having a good time.
He's on drums too.
He's on all of it. He recorded his other parts, and actually, this song I think he had a guest drummer.
He might have. He had a
did
couple
have
guests.
some guests. Yeah.
Yeah, what a set.
Well, that's all green screen.
Well, but
He
here's
wasn't
the thing.
really in the marshes.
So the unique thing about this is that he wasn't in the marshes, but he did it rarities by request. So these are songs a lot of them he's never played live before, and it's hard to put a live. It'd be hard to put a live show together for a tour that was like all the songs that only my hardcore fans like, right? Because it's how do you sell a tour that way? It's harder, but it works for the online. So it was a good way of taking something unique to do with an online show.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
It was really good. So I don't know if obviously it's on YouTube, but hopefully he can make money off of this thing. Like he's still making money off it. I don't know if he's planning on releasing this as a DVD or something like that. But
tickets. So he did make some money.
Yeah, he did sell tickets.
A lot of his live streams too, like the proceeds went to different he was doing fundraisers for things.
Was he? Yeah. No, it's really, really cool. So, and then
they supported their cast and crew, right? With I haven't heard their Christmas music that they released. I don't know if you guys did, but
I haven't. No. The last one, we're not going to show the video because the video is a couple minutes long. But anyway, and this is actually probably over already. But so Kiss is doing probably by far going to be the biggest production of a live stream. They're doing their Kiss 2020 goodbye concert, but it was filmed or it was live in Dubai, and I think Dubai's like 9 or 10 hours ahead of us. So I think it's actually already over. I think it was ending like when we were starting. So probably can't get tickets to this, but I'm sure you'll be able to watch it online.
They're like, where should we do a live show? We're locked down. Let's go to Dubai.
Yeah, Dubai. Yeah.
Great.
Which haven't been there, so maybe it's a cool spot.
Yeah, but it's just funny. Like if you can do it anywhere. Is that where they're hanging out for quarantine? Or
I have no idea.
They should do it on top of the Burj Khalifa, which is in Dubai, the tallest building in the world.
They might have. It looked like a big stage from the video.
It looked like a giant stadium.
Yeah. So okay, so we're out of time, but just real quickly, I will tell you my personal, because I know all of you guys are like, oh, we want to know more about the Metal Evangelist. Probably not, but my personal like highlight of 2020, the start of the Great Metal Podcast.
Oh yeah,
come on,
boom, right there.
Yeah, it makes the entire year worth it, right?
We did 25 of these episodes
in like 5 months.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
We've been grinding. Yeah, we only missed like 1 week.
Yeah.
So it's like the first week of August or last week of July or something.
Yeah. So Shred,
next year we're gonna hit it even harder. We'll go for at least 666 episodes next year. So.
That's 2 a day. But yeah,
2 a day.
But my highlight is the fans. I mean, I think it's fun that we're doing this for ourselves, kind of in a way. But then you guys have come along and jumped on board, and our goal was to spread metal. So we got great comments. Things like Johan finding out about Draconian through us. That's our goal, is to help people find stuff. Matthew Corns said here, I had to listen to the Majeska album on Christmas Eve, and it was pretty good. We helped him discover that, but fans have helped us discover music too.
Yes.
I mean, with a lot of Rivers of Nihil. I had never heard about this band until this year. Fans let me know about that. I'm big into those guys now.
Yeah.
So that's a highlight for me, as it's pretty cool to do this and engage with people from around the world too.
100%, yeah.
Shred, you got a highlight?
You are my highlight, Luke.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay. All right. Well,
now, Luke. Can you guys hear the?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We sure can. All right. Well, hey, listen, good or bad, life happens. 2020, we did it. Yeah, super thankful. All you guys joined us for that journey. 2021 is going to be even better. So we're probably going to miss Sunday, but we will be back the following Sunday and bringing you guys some really fun, cool new content. So as always, thank you. And remember, the year begins with you. So make it metal.